All right, first of all, I want to apologize about this morning. I got a message saying, hey, were you doing a Zoom today at 10? And I was like, oh my goodness, I had forgotten to put it on my calendar. And so as I woke up this morning, I took sleep spray last night and I forgot I didn't have any brain support, and I was just having a hard time waking up this morning. So I kind of went slow about it and I was working out. So anyway, no excuses. However, that's why I missed this morning. And so I thought 4 o'clock, maybe we can try the 2. We did 1 at 10, 1 at 4, see what the response is. Maybe we can alternate weeks or whatever. But next week we'll do 10 on Tuesday, and then we'll just see the better turnout. So anyway, that being said, I just want to jump into week 1 of 90-day game plan. And for those of you who have not yet gone and registered for the 90-day game plan with the company, I just want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the share screen thing. And we're going to go here. I just got a message saying my internet is unstable. So if I'm freezing or anything, if you'll let me know in the chat, that would be awesome. I think I'll be okay. So I didn't know. I kept going through, I said FYI, and then I was clicking on the 90-day action plan icon, and it was a lot of steps. If you just go onto your account, log on to your Isagenix.com account, and click here on Training Center, voila, who knew? You can actually, all right, if you ever want to speak, just unmute yourself. That helps with background noise. So, okay, so you can go on to your account. I guess it's making me log in again because I've been away for too long. And here you see Training Center. You just click there on that link. I had no idea it was even there. Then you have 90-day action plan. There's also the basic training boot camp, which I've never even looked at. I've heard of it, so that was good to know that was there. Anyway, enter here. Then it just has you, if you haven't done this already, you have to check this box and tell them that you are in, you're ready to play. You check the box and it's going to ask your goal. And that is our goal in a nutshell. Dave, all day long, is walking around saying, hey, isn't it exciting that we created more leaders than we ever have before? We're the highest promoting team, the highest recruiting team in the whole company. Just so you know, that's his goal, that's our goal, and we're including all of you in that. So now it says, okay, I'm in, and now you have week 1, and these weeks will continue to have an active link when it's time. So next week there will be a link here. So if you click on here, it's going to show you, oh my goodness, I thought it would allow me to open a new one because I went on through all 3 of our centers, and it's not. So I took notes of what it said just in case that happened, and so I'll just tell you, but that's how you get there. And normally instead of the survey, because it has you fill out, when you're done, you have to check that you've done it, and it's done through SurveyMonkey. So this is what you'll get once it's done. So maybe you want to make notes so that you remember what's there. Just now we all know. So now I'll just come away from sharing since you can't see anything. Okay. It just basically said that this week is we should have already made a list of 40 prospects. And 40 is just a beginning number, right? We can't build a business really, I mean a prosperous, successful business on 40 people, really. I mean, you can do 40 people and stop, and then you'll get the results of that. However, 40 is a great number to start with, and from that list of 40, it wants you to choose 10 that you're going to contact via social media. So that is what the assignment is for this week. Basically, that's all of it. And it says to do that by January 29th. And in connecting online, it doesn't mean to just go and copy and paste somebody else's, prospect. Hey, I have this amazing company. You see them all the time. They kind of cycle through Facebook. And there's nothing wrong with those. unless that's your initial contact, because that to you or to other people, you become spam. You become those phone calls, those telemarketers that you just hang up on. You become that on social media. So what it means by connect with 10 people is just to recreate a friendship or create a friendship. Reestablish. If you're going through your friends that you already have on Facebook, reestablish a relationship. Ask them how they're doing. If it's been a while, ask the question of, hey, what's new with you? Tell me what's going on. We haven't talked in a while. Ask them if they have any, changes that have gone on in their life. If they have any, thing they're looking for, just start that conversation, and then you can kind of find out what their pain points are. You can find out the solutions they're looking for. And if they're a match after you've reestablished this relationship and they know that you're there to be their friend and not to sell them on something, then you can ease into sharing your 30-day or your 30-second story and introducing Isagenix. But this week, your goal is to connect with 10 people on social media. That's it. So it's a really easy, manageable goal. And hopefully for people that are nervous to go out and do this, it kind of helps you go, oh, you know what? I just need to do like I do every day and create a relationship and talk to people. If you've ever been to UIA, David Wood says, okay, you ready for the secret? Here it is. Get your pen. Get ready to write it down. And it's just, hello, or in his words, hello. So that's it. You just go and be friends. So connect with 10 people. And then I mentioned this last Saturday that it also says, Isagenix is already established. We already have the solutions that people are looking for. So what you need to do is to give yourself permission to be confident. And to me, I'm like, I know now I can say, okay, that means something to me. Before, that would have been something that would be, what do you mean? Give myself permission to be confident. You don't just do that. You have to become confident. It was kind of a abstract thinking for me. But if you just go back and remember, all I'm doing is saying hello, just like I do anyways, and I'm just making friends, or I'm reconnecting with old friends, which is even maybe more safe than new friends, right? That's all you're doing. And you don't have to worry about whether or not Isagenix works, because we already know it does. And if so, you can take off the worry of how am I going to share Isagenix with them so that they will listen to me and so they won't defriend me or whatever. And you don't have to worry about even meeting strangers. All you're doing is talking to people and releasing whether or not Isagenix works, right? So that, if you can develop confidence in just that part of it, it will continue as you do it, and as you repeatedly do it, make it through the no's, make it through all the rejections, then eventually that confidence will grow. It grows piece by piece just by getting into action. So that's the first part of what I wanted to share. The next part is I was watching Eric Worre, and I recommend it for you. If you have YouTube, go onto YouTube. It's Eric Worre, and the one I was watching right now is just step one. Let's see, it was called Step One. Oh, Skill One, Finding Prospects. So that's a 30-minute video. He has one that is comprehensive. It's like an hour and a half long, and it's called, I wrote it down here. I wrote it down, and I don't know where I wrote it right now, so I'll just go back because I looked for it. Oh, How to Recruit 20 People in 30 Days, Network Marketing Pro by Eric Worre. And Worre,
that you need in order to be successful in network.
Worre is spelled W-O-R-R-E, if you need to search for that. So Eric, E-R-I-C, Worre is W-O-R-R-E. He's the author of GoPro, which is the #1 selling book for network marketing professionals. And also it's the #1 network marketing tips website. He created it about 5 years ago to give back because he had gained so much through network marketing. And he'd gone from entering network marketing just as a hoping it might work or just curious, all the way through having to develop the skills. He said he didn't know anything in the beginning. So he's a great resource to turn to. So I recommend that you watch both of them. I would start, if you want to do it in chunks, I would start with the one that's skill #1, which is finding prospects. But the whole one that's an hour and a half long, How to Recruit 20 People in 30 Days, is really good too. It was just, you need to set aside that hour and a half. Be aware that it is that long. But I wrote down just a few notes for you, and then you guys can go and watch it and fill in the gaps. He talked about there's 3 ways that we enter network marketing. We enter as a poser, we enter as an amateur, or we enter as a professional. And actually, we don't have to enter that way. We can evolve into any of those 3. He said most people, 99% of network marketers, join network marketing as a poser. So what does that mean? That they basically, it's a lottery ticket. They're just going to give it a chance. And he said a lot of times the people that get on the calls, that go to the meetings, that go to the events, are people that it was like a lottery ticket. They chose 5 people to share it with, and one of them said yes. And so they thought, oh, cool, this is going to be easy. And they thought that's all it took, which it is. However, there are certain skills that you develop to go from a poser to a professional. So everything, we learn skills to be better at it. So he was talking about a doctor. A doctor doesn't just all of a sudden know how to do surgery or know how to prescribe medication or know how to diagnose an illness. They go to school for 8 to 12 years to learn their skills. And then after that, they go into internship and residency, and they practice before they even start getting paid. So if you think about network marketing, you start and you find a leader and you train in the skills and you get paid as you go. And then a doctor at the end usually has to go back and pay off a student loan before they really start profiting from all the training that they've developed, all the skills. So when we look at it like that, we join network marketing and we think we should just automatically know how to do it. When, why can't we? To me, when I first heard this, I was like, duh, like I would never expect to know how to do surgery without training first. So why do I think I need to be great, amazing, perfect at network marketing day 1, or I'm going to quit because I'm not good at it, right? So that's giving yourself permission to grow. It's having compassion with yourself if you haven't done it perfectly, from the beginning. If you're not earning a 6-figure income in your first 30 days, give yourself some compassion. But also, he said, be honest with yourself in what you're labeling. Are you a poser? Are you an amateur? Are you a professional? And be willing to admit what you are, because then you know where to go from here, right? So be honest with compassion. So what does an amateur mean? An amateur is somebody who bases it all on luck, timing, and position. So they'll be the ones that will ask the questions like, how new is the company? Can I get in at ground level? Is it, that where could I be placed in the downline? Can I be placed right under Jimmy Smith? And the cool thing with Isagenix is we know that it doesn't matter where you're placed, because you can earn a great income. We have people down in our downline, which that sounds like they're below us, but they're making more money than we are. So that's really cool about Isagenix and our compensation plan. It's fantastic. But an amateur is looking for that. They're looking for the luck. They're looking for the right timing. They're looking for they always have their eye out for the next new hot opportunity. And they may be the kind that, they're doing just great and you're excited about them as leaders, and then they switch and they go to another company because it's building really fast and people are making money overnight, that kind of a thing. And the reason that happens is because there are stories of people that come in and just make a lot of money really fast. And so that's the reputation that network marketing gets for a lot of people. And when that doesn't happen, then they quit. And they say it doesn't work for me. So then it gets the other side of the bad rap, right? So just being able to be realistic, it does happen, but for the majority of the people, it's developing skills. It's working through it and allowing yourself to practice, allowing yourself to train, allowing yourself to develop your personality along with your skill set. So the professional is the one then who develops skills and they develop passion, and they use those together. So the passion, if you already are a part of Isagenix, chances are you have some sort of passion for health and nutrition, for working with people, and for building an empire with your finances, or one of those, or all of the above. So you do have some passion because you are here. Whether or not that's on fire right now, that's okay. But I promise you that the way to keep your fire lit, the way to stay excited about your business, is to continue to recruit new people. They call that new blood. New blood makes you excited because it's fun to work with new people. It's fun to see that ignorance on fire and to grow your team and to expand your circle of friends and all of that. It's really fun to recruit new people. So if you've gotten stagnant If you're not growing, if your attitude is down, if your passion is down, evaluate. When was the last time you sponsored somebody? And if you haven't, if you've been in this company for a long time, so you think, well, I'm past the point of prospecting, you never are past that point. The Cepedas probably are among the top recruiters, and they're the top income earners. So that's how it goes. So then he said, as far as skills, there's 7 skills. First of all, the prerequisite to the skills is decide. I want to be a professional network marketer. The professional network marketer is the person like Susan Sly, who said, you know what, I'm going to give it 10 years no matter what. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it 10 years. And after 10 years, if I haven't been successful, then I'll reevaluate. So within 3 years, with that, I'm giving it all I've got for 10 years, she became a millionaire, and she's always in the top 3, top 5 income earners in the company all the time. She made the decision, she went for it with a no exit strategy for at least 10 years. And that's the mindset to develop. So deciding, that's the pre-skill. Then skill number 1 is finding prospects. Skill number 2 is inviting prospects. So we find them, then we have to ask them, right? Presenting to the prospects is skill number 3. Following up on those prospects is skill number 4. Closing the deal, right, on the prospects is skill number 5. And then getting new people started, skill number 6. And promoting events is skill number 7. So right now, today, with our week 1 being, we have our prospect list, and then we're contacting 10 people on social media. That's the one we're going to focus on. So the skills that he broke it back down into posers, amateurs, and professionals, and I thought it was really funny, but it's also very true. A poser is going to make a mental list. Like, okay, I can think of a few people I can talk to, and that's as far as they go. They never write it down, they just keep it in their head. And then once it's out of their head, they're done, okay? An amateur, they're gonna write a list. They're gonna write a list one time, and then they're gonna go through the list and exhaust the list and drain it. And as they get closer and closer to the bottom of the list, they start to panic. Like, oh no, I'm bad at this, it's not gonna happen. Or they're like, well, they say you can find 3 pearls in 100 oysters. So I guess my pearls are at the bottom. That's how he says it. So he's like, you just go about smashing oysters, and then finally your list is gone, and you're like, okay, I don't know anyone else. I guess I can't do this. But the professional, they're the one that continues to build the list. They're creating an active list. Everybody goes on the list. And so here's what he said in How to Make a Comprehensive List, which I thought was I've done direct sales. We've been in Isagenix for 11 years. I did direct sales before then. And this honestly is what they tell you all the time. So, it's built on principles that work. So first of all, it says make a comprehensive list. Step 1. Every person goes on the list. Every person. You're not going to pick and choose. You're not going to predetermine whether or not this person will like it, will use it, will say yes, will say no, because we can't make up people's minds for them. We have no idea what they're going to say. We can think we know, but it's not fair for us to take the opportunity away from people. So don't prejudge. Just put every single person on the list, every single person you can think of. And this is how you're going to think of people. Well, first he says, empty your mind on paper. So like the poser who just thinks of people, so first you're going to empty your mind. Write everyone you can think of. Okay? Do a brainstorming session. Maybe turn on your timer for 10 minutes and see how many people you can write down in that 10 minutes. Or maybe if you have a short attention span, do 2 minutes and then do another 2 minutes later and just write as many people as you can think of. Then you're going to go to all the lists you've ever made, like if you've ever planned a wedding or invited people to a wedding or invited people to a party or your Christmas card list, any list that you've ever made, go to those lists and add those people to your list of prospects. So you may have them already written down. I know some people are very organized that way. Or just get into that mindset. Okay, I've emptied my mind of everyone I could think of that might be interested in Isagenix. Now I'm going to pretend like I'm doing Christmas cards. Who am I going to invite? And write them on the list. Now I'm going to pretend like I'm inviting someone to a wedding. Who would I invite? Put them on your list. And just continue to put yourself in those situations because it opens your mind up to more people. You'll be surprised at how many people end up on your list. Then he said you're going to go to all organizations. Any organization you've ever belonged to. If you've been a part of a company before, if you've been in the PTA, if you've been on the what do they call it, in the Chamber of Commerce, or, you know, maybe a ball club. You played sports, or your kids have played in sports, those organizations, all those people that you know from organizations, write them down. He said, then go to your email and just search through your email contact list, through any emails that you've received that you've got. I have 15,000 emails all the time. I'm always cleaning them out, and they add up. So there's a lot of names in my email. Write those people down. And then your cell phone, go through your top contact list. How many people do you have in your contact list? You might be surprised. You probably have more people than you thought. Write those people down. And then social media. How many friends do you have on Facebook? How many people follow you on Instagram, Twitter? How many people do you follow? You know, all of them go on the list. And then it will continue to build and to grow as you go into the world, as you're in life and you're saying hello to people and you're having conversations. You go out to eat, you have your waitress, you know, they do a good job, you get talking to them. Now it's so easy. We just hand them our phone and say, hey, are you on Facebook? Friend each other right there. You have a new contact. So those are the skills that we develop by creating a list. I mean, it's a skill that we just learned how to develop. And by doing that and keeping your list somewhere where you always know where it is, you always can go and check off, or you can always add new names to it. Keep it an active running list all the time and visit it all the time. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to share today. I don't know if any of you maybe have some things that you've used or that you've tried as far as like maintaining your list, adding to your list, or even keeping your list so that you know where to find it. A lot of people have a hard time keeping it organized. I know I used to do expos. That's another way to add to your list. I would do expos and I would get all of these contact cards and I'd bring them home, and I can't stand paper all over the place. And so I kept trying to find the best way to organize it, and it ended up stressing me out so bad because I'd organize it one way and then I'd forget how I organized it, or I'd forget where I wrote my list, or I would even forget that the list existed because I didn't want to see the list because it was messy. So I'd put it away, totally forget about it. So what works for you? Does anybody have any skills? I'll show you what I finally figured out. But first I want to see if anybody else has anything to say. You can unmute or chat. Anyone? Okay. So if it's just because it takes a while to unmute, you can talk over me if I get uncomfortable with silence. This is one skill that I found worked for me, and that I had to keep it out on my desk so that I could see it. And I even left it open because if it's closed, it's out of my mind. I have to have it be a little bit unorganized for me to catch my attention. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my contact list. So I just have my little tabs here. They're alphabetical order. I've tried alphabetical order, and then I've tried ready to say yes. I've asked them once before, ask them again in 6 months. I've done it in lots of different ways. And so whichever way works for you, however your mind thinks. And then just by writing the contacts on little contact cards and slipping them in there. That's one thing that worked for me, to be able to keep it organized and to be able to know. I liked it better by saying, these are new contacts. I've talked to them within the first 30 days or within the last 30 days. And then I had 3 to 6 months, all the way so that I could go back and rotate through and recontact people without being annoying and without forgetting them. That's what worked best for me when I was actively working other businesses. And honestly, lately now I just have my phone. This is how I do it. I put it in my phone and I put a reminder that rings me, an alarm. That's what works best for me right now. I'm not saying it's the best system, but just for me, it works the best. So there's some other ideas for you there. Again, does anyone have anything to add or any questions to ask before? I don't like to keep you long just for the sake of having a call. So if there aren't any other comments or questions, then, well, I do want to know, even if you don't have that, has anybody already made their list of 40? I'd love to see it, or just raise your hand. Let's see. Is the reminder connected to something other than my phone? That's a good question. I have an Apple phone, and I also have an Apple computer, and I have an iPad, and I sync all 3 of them. So I get reminders on my computer. If I'm not by my phone, I still get the reminder. Or if I'm on my iPad. Anyway, I get the reminders all the way that way. That's the only way I've connected it. Riley, awesome. You've made your list. Good job. Good job. Have you separated out your social media people on there too? That's just curious about that one. Yes. Awesome. Good job, Riley. Anybody else made their list? Oh, Lisa made her list. Great. That's fantastic. So you're doing it. It's just doing the steps. That's all it is. Doing something every day, following the plan, and repeat. That's it. E, you've raised your hand. So go ahead. I'll unmute you. Nope. I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I know. I was saying, so on the calendar, I use a calendar as well on my phone, but I'm on a device. However, I'm usually on my laptop, which is a PC. And so I end up using Google Calendar because with Google Calendar, you can sync across all sorts of devices. So if that's something that you guys are considering, using a calendar of some sort. You can also set a calendar for yourself as a private calendar, and you can set a team calendar. You can actually have separate calendars, but all show up in one spot. So on my phone, I have my calendar, my kids' calendar, and a team calendar. And then on my laptop, when I'm focused and working, it's only a team calendar that's available. So you can actually kind of make that all go. Have I ever lost Google Calendar? No, because it's electronic, Lisa, and it's accessible through your Gmail account. Yeah, same account name and access.
And you can create an app, right? I know a lot of people use Google Calendar because if I make an appointment with somebody, for example, like today I talked to someone about my website and she just sent me a Google Calendar reminder. At the time I made the appointment, the day before I made the appointment, like an hour before, 15 minutes before, and right at the time. I just kept getting reminders in my email. So that was really fantastic. I haven't used it yet just because I had my own system. However, especially lately, every time I get a reminder, I'm like, this is something I want to look into to see how it would work for me, especially in my family. Dave and I, wow, that would be awesome if we could make our calendars that way. So
yeah, you know what? It might revolutionize your website calendar as well because you type it in on your phone, it updates on the website too if you just embed the calendar.
Bueno. Yes, I do that. Good to know. I know, I did. That's what I was thinking of actually for the m2mnews.info. I was like, I wonder if I could use Google Calendar because then other people could actually subscribe to that as well, which makes it really fantastic. So thank you, Eve, for that reminder. Any other suggestions, tips, questions, lists that you want to brag that you've made? Not brag, celebrate. Celebrating the micro wins is a part of creating a macro win, right? So, any more? And let's see, switch to another. Heather, yay, you want to unmute and tell us?
Okay, sorry, it's different on my phone. Yes, so this last week was really good. My husband and I on Sunday night, and that's what we've decided to do is every Sunday night we have our planning meeting together and we plan out what our action steps for the week are going to be. So we have our big overall goal and then we've broken it down to what action steps we need to take to reach that goal. And that every Sunday night we say, okay, this is what we need to do. We're going to contact 10 people and we make a list. We don't always contact those 10 people though, which I have found very interesting. We still make sure we contact at least 10, but as time progresses, as the day goes on, something will come up and we'll talk with somebody else, or it just won't be a good time, or it won't be right. That's one thing I've noticed is I can't force it ever because then it doesn't work and it's not genuine. And so we're just doing that every week and that has been a big help. So yes, the law of non-resistance, exactly. Just go with the flow.
Exactly. Thank you, Heather. And the things that make that work, right, are you set the intention, you write the 10 names down, so it's not like you're just sitting back letting, the universe fill your pocketbook or your contact list. You're writing them down. You have the intention to speak to 10 people and you get into action. And then that's when it's like, talk to this person and let's wait on this person. And you don't take those people off your list either, right? They'll stay on your list until you eventually talk to them. It's just getting into action and then allowing the source that knows better than we do to fill our intuition and feed us the information. So thank you for bringing that in because it all works together. We have to visualize, we have to dream, we have to set an intention, and we have to be in action. And the best success involves all of that and not just focusing on one thing only. So thank you. Anyone else? Let's see. E, are you raising your hand again, or did we just not lower it?
We didn't lower it, but I do have another thing to ask while we're at it. So this morning I posted in group about visualization and getting detailed because I'm getting better at visualizing, which I wasn't before. I stopped dreaming for quite a while in my life. And so now what I'm finding is I actually, after talking to you last couple days ago, I realized that I don't have a hazy picture of the future. The future is very clear. I'm having trouble with immediate, like the 30 days or the week. It's kind of very interesting to look at it because I see that more hazily than I do the future. The future is so clear. It's crystal. And so what I'm finding this morning was visualizing a team of the type of people I'm attracting. It's getting really detailed because I'm writing down, well, what exactly do I want to attract in order to get it into my mind. But as I'm writing, I'm going, well, if I'm starting to ask myself what I'm attracting, is that derailing myself from the visualization? Because as I'm writing that, is that basically saying, well, that's not already there? But then if I don't write that down in detail, then my brain can't seem to picture the type of person. Am I making sense? So I'm not sure if it's actually taking me away from what visualization is supposed to do.
I don't think so.
Versus
No,
becoming
if
that.
I'm understanding you correctly, I think you're right on the right track, because writing it down and detailing it isn't taking away from the vision, it's clarifying the vision. It's adding to the detail of the vision. It makes it more real. Your subconscious, you'll believe it. And when you believe it, then you feel it, and then that's when things happen. And so I love how you did mention, your vision of the future is very clear and your next step is a little hazy. And I feel like that is not just you. I think that's true for a lot of people. So what I do, and this may, if anybody else has anything that you do that's different or that clarifies what I'm saying, is I kind of get into logic. So instead of I can see my vision because I know that that's what I'm desiring because I feel it so much, and that continues to clarify. I continue to write the vision. The more it clarifies in my mind, the more clear I write it down. And the next step is what I'm waiting for, because that's where the how is none of our business. And so sometimes we're afraid to look at that next step, or we're afraid or we're just not sure where it is. So then I go to logic. So I go to Eric Worre, and he told me that my next step is to just start going to my list and writing them down, right? The Isagenix 90-day action plan says, then take 10 people and contact them on Facebook and, make a connection. So I'm defaulting to the logic or the example of people before me until my next step for me becomes more clear. So as I'm making my list and I'm going through Facebook and I'm like, that person's name just stood out so bright to me. That's my next step. I'm going to contact that person. Does that make sense? So it's like going to logic,
Totally.
following the leadership of other people and doing those things until the intuition kicks in to show me my next step. Like Heather was saying, they write down their list of 10 names and then all of a sudden someone else's name pops into their mind. That's where they're going to go, because that's connecting the big vision, the intuition with the daily action. The getting into action is the key, no matter what the action is. Like for me in my personal journey, putting on lipstick is an action that doesn't seem like it would go anywhere, but it has totally led me to where I want to go because I just got into action. I mean, it's the dorkiest little thing, and it's also leading me where I want to go. So sometimes just act, just do something, and it will come. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome. Anyone else? I love the feedback. I love the interaction. I think that's where the power of these calls comes really into play. Just to listen to me talk, I could do a Facebook Live and just talk to myself all night, but interacting is fantastic. So I appreciate everyone that's been sharing and asking questions and everything. It makes it amazing. If we don't have anyone else, then I will just go ahead and end the call so we can get into action, right? We're just being entertained right now. Hopefully it's entertaining. All right. Thank you. We will do next Tuesday. I am putting it on my calendar, 10 a.m. next Tuesday. And then I think maybe we'll try an afternoon the following, unless I can tell immediately where the numbers are. Right now they seem to be really similar to each other. So maybe I'll just alternate so it's more available for everyone to be on live. But I'm going to say it'll be continued. But as far as next week goes, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you guys can figure out what that is. Okay? Awesome. Thank you. It's the same Zoom, so you can save it, or I'll continue to post it. But anyway, bye-bye. Thanks a ton.